The importance of people. We have a shortage of talent in this world. There's not enough people to do the things that need to be done. And all of the conversations we have for every industry, every geography, every product, service, and offering, every tier of personnel, employment, responsibilities within these organizations, the same mantra is repeated, that we cannot find enough talented, qualified people to do the things that we need to do. And whether we blame it on demographic growth, on a lack of labor participation for working age women and men, or the need for more artificial intelligence, which would take the position is not likely to solve that problem and likely is not going to adequately solve it in the long run as well. So it's really people that are a vital piece of every business, because it's the companies that have that scarce resource and can encourage it, retain it, and foster the right growth and atmosphere that ultimately will outperform a similar company doing a similar thing that does not have the same level of employee engagement and talent. And so it's surprising that in many M&A and capital transactions, there's not enough emphasis being placed on the quality of the people. And I think it was Marcus Lemonis that said it, but he always said a company breaks down to people, processes, and products / service / offering, but those 3 P's in a business. And so when we look at a business and we are helping a company either to seek financing or either to sell their business, a large emphasis is always placed on the people, because that is oftentimes the magic of what allows a business to continue to grow profitably, to have the right culture, to have the right level of ambition, and it permeates the company from the CEO and leaders all the way down to the most junior employee and interns. And it's oftentimes a reason why a company is ultimately being acquired, or a reason why a company is being financed. There's a tremendous amount of transactions that take place. You may hear the phrase acqui-hire, right, where an acquisition is effectively just a means of taking on more talent and getting more access to people that are capable of doing things. And in conjunction with that, if there's a wonderful product, service, or offering, or some area that a larger company is not currently performing well within, in whatever case that may be, that's when transactions can, harkening back to our last video about synergies, that's where there's tremendous value. And so in every situation where we're representing a company, whether for an exit or to seek capital, there's 3 things we really want to emphasize as we're describing people. The first is specialization, roles, and responsibilities. And so we think of that as, what do the different people do? What tasks do they undertake? What roles do they serve? And if that can be broken down, and usually you'll see an organizational chart, right? But if that can be broken down and communicated very clearly, then that's a great place to start and gives a lot of comfort to whoever may be looking at acquiring or financing a company. The second variable to look at is cross-training. And so even though people are specialized to a certain degree, when you have a company that's in that $400,000 to $4 million EBITDA range, typically you're going to have 3 to 50 employees, sometimes more, sometimes it can be even less, but it's not going to be thousands and thousands of people. And so by virtue of that, it's very important that many people are cross-trained. You can think of a company as these concentric Venn diagrams where different people have different skill sets that they've been trained for, although they are specializing in one particular area. Because what that allows for is, if someone changes into a new role, if somebody leaves, if someone new comes in, that the machine does not get disrupted as this happens. And largely, employee involvement, encouragement, happiness, and desire to progress within a company is also flourishes in a situation where they understand the totality of the process, or at least a very broad section of what the business does, gives people an ownership in the business. And so that's very important. If that's the case, which it is in all of the businesses we work with, that's something we certainly want to highlight. And the last thing we like to highlight is upward capability or potential. And so you can think of the concept of operating leverage within a business. People will always ask, if there's a warehouse, and they'll say, okay, you're doing X million dollars in this warehouse. How much more revenue could you do with before you need a new warehouse? How much more subscribers could you have with your software before you had to add on more modules? Whatever the business may be, there's always, what is the limiting factor and how much growth is there before there's meaningful capital or changes that need to be made or modifications. And so the similar thing is discussed with employees. People will say, okay, you have this group or team within a company. How big can the company get with this core group? What is the maximum that you think we can push this business and grow this business to with this team and what they're capable of handling? And often the best outcomes are derived from situations where it can be clearly defined that there's a tremendous amount of potential, that there are people that can do more, that want to do more, that are encouraged to do more. And having that kind of environment and culture makes a more valuable company. Oftentimes, I think the employee or the personnel component of a transaction is glossed over. And most importantly, there's a symbiosis between culture and capability and value. And that's important. And that's something we always like to communicate. Culture is not just a fluffy term. Encouragement of employees, happiness, how eager they are and willing they are to perform, to take on more responsibility, it directly correlates to the value of the business or how financeable a business is. So that's the thought for today. People are important, and oftentimes in the M&A or capital process, it's not a category that's focused on enough. However, it's something that we ensure we do in all of our engagements because it ultimately yields a better outcome. It certainly is an area that all business owners are proud of as well. So that's the thought for today. Hope the week continues to go well. Keep pushing forward. God bless. We'll see everyone next time.